The Toronto Raptors, with what is almost 100% the worst performance of the season. Didn't think it could get worse in the Pelicans game, but they managed to get worse against the Charlotte Hornets, and it's flat out embarrassing to be a Raptors fan today. Let's break it down in today's post-game show. Welcome everybody to Amateur Hour Clips. Thank you so much for your patience during the All-Star break. We are back for a post-game show, and I wish it was still the All-Star break because we unfortunately had to watch Raptors today. Because if you haven't noticed, at time of recording, game's not done. I'm done. And if I had my way, I would have ended stream in the middle of the third quarter, but we soldiered on. There's only about 2 minutes left in the game, but we've seen everything we need to see. I saw everything I needed to see midway through the third quarter. The Toronto Raptors are still on All-Star break. They decided not to show up to play today. Not one single player decided to show up and play today. Scotty Barnes, say what you want about what Scotty Barnes did offensively. You could make a highlight tape of PJ Washington three-pointers today because Scotty Barnes refused to close out and play any sort of defense on him. But he's not the only one who didn't play any defense. The Raptors as a whole, let's start offensively. The Raptors, the way they play, I mean, any team in the NBA, you need to be able to hit three-pointers in order to free up space on the inside, or else teams like the Hornets right now are just going to collapse, say, all right, you can't hit threes, then we're just going to sit in the paint. You're not going to get anything there. Raptors were not hitting their threes. Hornets bunkered down. As a result, we couldn't generate much offense. It was slow from the start. It was slow from the opening jump. We couldn't generate anything. And the big hitters that we expect to help us climb out of these situations, like Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, just didn't quite get it done for the Raptors at all today. They were quite horrendous. And again, from the opening tip, we were missing easy looks. We were turning the ball over a ton, missing rotations on defense, but we're going to get to the defense in just a second. Offensively, it was just an absolute mess. No player really taking the reins. No player really helping us out a ton. Scotty Barnes had a good pocket. Actually had a career-high night. Really bad night for a career-high night, but it is what it is. Scotty Barnes did it in the point category, but other than that, Gary Trent was decent, and defensively, it was just absolutely abysmal from the Raptors. Right from the start, we couldn't get an offensive rebound. We could barely get defensive rebounds. They got a ton of offensive rebounds, and especially Montrezl Harrell, who's given us so many problems this season. Had to get traded to a team in the Hornets we have to play again. I thought we were done with him on the Wizards, but we have to play him again here at the Hornets, and he did his thing against us. And as a whole, especially in the second and third quarter, it seemed like the Hornets didn't have to do much to earn good looks all over the place. The amount of open threes afforded to Terry Rozier and PJ Washington was absolutely sickening from this team. It was incredible, and the amount of times Scotty Barnes left players open the outside was just ridiculous. Delano Banton had a limited role in the second quarter and decided that he was running cardio because LaMelo Ball just went everywhere and Delano Banton could not follow him. I'm singling some specific players out, but ultimately everybody was awful. Kem Birch was terrible, gave us nothing on offense, provided no help on defense, didn't really do anything in the help defense category. And in many situations, players like LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier got to the rim without anybody really making an effort to stop them from doing that and getting easy points. You look at Mason Plumlee. When Mason Plumlee is toying with you, it's time to call it a night. Mason Plumlee was just carving his way to the rim. He was throwing down lobs. It's an embarrassing night. It's an embarrassing night for the Raptors. Also, even more embarrassing when you consider the fact that the Charlotte Hornets, in their last 10 games leading up to tonight, had won one game. One game. That's 9 losses in 10 games. This Charlotte Hornets team has a very distinct inability to win games right now. The Raptors have been great leading into the All-Star break. That did not carry over here. I don't know if the All-Star break killed some of our momentum. I don't know if the All-Star break gave Charlotte the break they needed to really set their pass rate. I think the All-Star break came at a great time for the Hornets. They are vying for a playoff position just like the Raptors. This was a pretty important game in the Eastern Conference. We have a lot of important games coming up in the near future. The game against the Hawks tomorrow. That's a big game. They're another team fighting for a playoff spot. Back-to-back games against the Brooklyn Nets. They're right behind us in the Eastern Conference. 2 huge games there. Then you have the Magic and the Pistons. The Pistons going to be probably the toughest game of the season because that's just the way it is. And the Magic, that's probably one you should win as well. But I don't expect this to carry on. We had that one against the Pelicans. We were able to just bounce back and be better. But it is extremely concerning that the Toronto Raptors team that we see this season can have such high highs and such low lows. Like I can't go underneath my floor here, but like the lows this team can achieve, as we've seen tonight, is completely inexcusable. You need to find a way to just not have this bad of a night. Every team, every player, everybody's going to have a bad night every once in a while. You need to find a way to make sure that your bad nights aren't this bad. And it seemed to me like nobody on the floor really wanted to be there. Say what you want about them wanting to play. Say what you want about it. Obviously, everybody wants to play. In my opinion, as a sports fan, it's not about what you say. It's about what you do. And it seemed to me like there wasn't one single Raptors player who actually wanted to be out there on the court. And it showed, and it reflected in the scoreline. The game is now done. The Raptors was 125-93. Honest to God, that score makes us look better than the game actually went. It was just completely and utterly disgraceful from the Raptors. So now that it's done, we can look at the score, the stats here. So offensively, let's look at the Raptors first. Siakam goes 3 for 13 with 8 points. One of his worst of the season. Kem Birch, again, did nothing really all game. Turned it over twice, had 1 point. Pretty rough. Scotty Barnes, 13 for 18 with 20 points. Career high night, but defensively didn't give us a ton. Fred VanVleet was a minus 40. That's pretty tough to do. He was a minus 40 with 8 points. Gary Trent at 12 points, 5 for 12. Just nobody was redeeming. Nobody was redeeming for this team. Not one bit. Thaddeus Young was lost on offense, lost on defense, turned it over twice, made a lot of bad decisions defensively. Then we go to the Hornets. Terry Rozier tears us up. Scary Terry with 10 for 16, 23 points. One who typically plays well against the Raptors, but that's a very good performance. Miles Bridges, 5 for 11. PJ Washington, 5 for 11. He had 3 threes, I think, in like a 3-minute span in the second quarter. Because Scotty Barnes forgot how to play defense. Montrezl Harrell, again, we just can't find an answer for him this season. 9 for 12 with 20 points. There was one play. It was either LaMelo Ball or Terry Rozier who completely airball a layup. And as it's going out of bounds, Montrezl Harrell saves it. 3 Toronto Raptors players stand. They watch the airball. Okay, airball. They watch Montrezl Harrell catch the ball. They go, okay. They watch Montrezl Harrell lean back and lay it up. And all 3 of them look at each other. Nobody decided to play defense. That just kind of sums up the way the game went. And also what kind of sums the game went is when Gary Trent had a wide open 3 and airballed it. Yeah, not much went right here. Let's check in on the team stats as a whole. We shot poorly, no surprise. They out-rebounded us to oblivion because they wanted to win more than we did today. And they actually turned the ball over more than us. We had 8 in the first quarter. We actually cleaned that up. We couldn't shoot and we couldn't rebound. And they had their way with us as a result. Ultimately, it was the defense that killed us because you can't get stops. You can't get best way to get a good offense for the Raptors is play good defense. You push in transition, you push the pace, but we were just unable to do that. And when we did, we turned the ball over way too much for my liking. So yeah, all over the place. This was a bad night for the Raptors everywhere. There wasn't one redeeming factor of this game. Scotty Barnes' offense, sure, but you got to bring the defense with it. You can't just have the offensive part of your game. You need to help us defensively. And Scotty Barnes, despite a dominant second quarter offensively, had to get ripped out of the game because he couldn't get a stop. And I'm picking on him, but it's a lot of different players who did not, who rather helped the Hornets win this game. And as a result, the scoreline reflects it, 125-93. And the biggest lead of the night, it did get to 41 points for the Hornets. So I guess fortunately, you don't think about this much because you got to play a game tomorrow. Fortunately, you get this out of your mind and find a way to play against the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow. And if this doesn't light a fire under the team and they come out flat again tomorrow, they need to fucking look at themselves. Somebody needs to step up and take control of this goddamn team, because as much as we've been overachieving this season, in my opinion, the valleys can't dip this low. Your bad nights can't be this bad, and I think that's all there is to it. So thank you for watching this post-game show. Sorry we haven't had much content during the break. Honest to God, I mean, the only reason we don't put more content is because nobody watches stuff that isn't post-game shows. So if you want more, let us know. Like the videos, subscribe to the channel, and tell us what you want to see when there is no Raptors games to be had. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Tomorrow's post-game show, I'm sure, will be better than this one, because the game will go better, because it just probably can't get any worse than this. Or can it? See you next time for another post-game show. We do one for every single Raptors game.